Welcome to a special edition of Stay a While, recorded live on Radio Row at Super Bowl 59. I'm your host, Tommi Vincent, and we are going to be hearing some dynamic conversations with phenomenal guests here on Radio Row. So take a seat, get comfortable, and stay a while. This episode is sponsored by the House of Joy. Hey everyone, it's Tommi Vincent, your host of Stay a While podcast, and we have joining us at the table Arielle Comer. Arielle is a newly certified sports agent through the NFLPA.
Yes.
So, first of all, that is definitely a space that we don't see a lot of women moving through. But they are, there are some agents now that we're more familiar
Yes.
that women are occupying that space. They've been there for a while, but now it's just kind of like being elevated.
You're seeing them.
Absolutely. How did you decide this was something that you desire to do?
Absolutely. So growing up as a child, I always knew that I wanted to be in the sports and entertainment space. I took classes with Catherine Sullivan, with Miley Cyrus and the likes, and went to pilot season and got shot down because they didn't want a young child with braces. And so when I was looking for my other entry point, I was exposed to the legal system. And I was like, I definitely want to be an entertainment attorney. And so growing up, that's kind of where my passion was. I remember when I was in college, my mother and I were doing tours for law school, and I was determined to go to UCLA. But more than that, I wanted to be a part of CAA. And I remember walking in the building with my resume thinking I could just walk in and find someone and talk to, and they would hand me a job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I quickly got turned around. So I was like, okay, let me go the route. I went to law school, graduated. I actually had a child during my last year of law school, which has been a big part of this journey for me. But I have 8 nephews. So I have been in and out of sports all my life. I was an auntie when I was born. And so graduated law school, started my own law firm, and now it has finally allowed me the space, the time, the flexibility to really bring everything full circle, especially in the wake of NIL with everything being the wild, wild west. I think there has been a gap for so long, and I'm hoping to fill that.
What is the name of your law firm?
Comer Law Group.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now you have your own experience. I know part of your background is pursuing a dream as a childhood actor.
Yes.
You've had experience with agents, and I don't know if they were all good and pleasant. However, as a result of your experience, how are you going to differentiate yourself in the industry for your clients?
Absolutely. Growing up, I have had experience with agents, and what I could not find was someone that looked like me or someone that cared truly about my best interests or even those around me. And so I truly feel like this is the opportunity for me to lean into the maternal instincts, right? It's that protect,
Absolutely.
And I definitely want to be able to step into this role when I speak with parents. I'm like, listen, you got your baby, but I got your baby too. Like, I get it. I am a mama bear first. But I also want to be able to provide sound advice. I don't want to be the yes man. I want to give them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear, and really help them protect their legacy. NFL careers for most guys are over in 2 to 3 years, and then their money's blown by year 5. And this dream that they worked their whole life for is just over like that. And so I really want to step in to help them focus on who they are on and off the field so that there is longevity and a legacy there to preserve.
Is have you thought about your business and if you're just going to focus in on NFL players, or are you open to other sports leagues as well?
So I eventually want to dominate all the sports space.
Not dominate.
I want to dominate. If you look at the numbers, there are 23% of women in general who represent the sports agents, right? And then 7.5% of those are Black, and 7.5% Black of any gender. Less than 10% of that is Black women. Growing up, you think about who could inspire me to do this. There was no one that looked like me. We have now, greats like Nicole Lynn, right? You hear her name, but why are we not hearing more names?
Yeah.
There need to be others standing beside her. And so I really want to join this community so that I can hold the door open and send the ladder back down for those coming behind me.
Yeah, no, that's so true. It's a space where you don't see women out in the forefront. But I do know that there are women that are the unsung heroes, if you will,
Yeah.
of the success of the industry. And that is why I think it is so important for this sector to grow, where you have women like yourself who are stepping into the role, and you're stepping in and you're unapologetically talking about the quality that you bring to the men as they're growing in their young careers. It does take someone that's going to be care about them, be passionate about them, that's going to mama bear them a bit,
Yes.
in a respectful way, obviously, because they're men.
Correct.
And when you think about your nephews and you think about your own child, what is that quality in you that you believe is so imperative for the success of your clients?
I would say twofold: my tenacity and my drive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when I put my mind to something, you could ask anybody that knows me. When I set my mind on something, it's getting done.
Mm-hmm.
I may not know the how, I may not know, the way I'm going to get there, but I know to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to see it through. And I'm going to see it through in a way that it will be effective,
Mm-hmm.
and not just, for sake of completing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, some agents, they won't touch a client if they don't think they're going to be in the top 1, 2, 3 rounds.
Right.
How do you feel about essentially telling someone you're not worthy of my service because you're not high enough in the rounds for me to represent?
And you know what? I think that is such an unfair narrative that agents have put out, as far as only wanting to represent the top, because the league in itself has so many players who didn't go to combine, who didn't go to Senior Bowl, who, may have started at a rookie camp and worked their way through the roster and are now, 10-year vets in the game. And so it's being able to see that early on. So for me, when I'm looking at a client, it's not about where you're going to stack, and what day you're going to get called. It's more so, who are you as a person?
Mm-hmm.
Because this has truly gotten to be a bit of an ugly game where money is the controlling factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want the client that I can buy, because guess what? Somebody can come buy them for me later. I want the client who sees the bigger picture, who's willing to put in the work themselves, because I can only lead them to water, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't make them drink. So it's a matter of aligning with them as a person, but, also having those real conversations and not selling them, pipe dreams like, hey, you're for sure going to be a day one starter. You're for sure going to go first round, when that's just not the case. So I have already taken the steps now. Even in the conversations I'm having, I am getting scouting reports from league scouts. Like, let's constantly stay on track with where you are and where you're going and what you need to work on. Let's be realistic about this up front, so you can have the opportunity to do the work, versus me telling you, oh no, you're great, you're for sure good, and then you get to this point and you don't hear your name and now you're looking at me. I don't want to have those conversations.
Are you going to work with collegiate athletes as well, or is the focus on the pro?
So I am going to work with collegiate athletes as well as high school athletes. I feel like with NIL now, more and more, this is how you get the collegiate athletes, right? You start the relationship early. And for me, I really want to be able to build that trust with my client, with their family. So when it comes time where they have to lean on me for my decisions, there's no hesitation there.
Yeah.
And with my legal background, it's going to allow me and my expertise to navigate the NIL waters as it's constantly evolving, and help them when they get to college to navigate that, so that when they get to the leagues, we are locked in.
Yeah. That loud scream was Cam Newton, always disrupting somebody's conversation. Every time I'm on Radio Row, I'll be like, Cam.
He wants to be a part of everybody's show. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So now that you're certified and you're in the process of building your business, what are some core principles for your organization that you want people to understand about who you are as a professional and how you're going to show up in your representation?
Absolutely. I would say respect first and foremost. I get, when I'm talking to like a lot of these kids, you can pretty easily pick up on who's been coddled, you know, as a child, and who has been raised by parents who teach them how to talk, because that is something that they just can't learn this late, right? So respect, loyalty is a big thing for me, and that's something that just does not exist in this industry, unfortunately. It is, you could be with somebody today and gone with them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I would say,
And that works both ways.
yes.
Because you talked about how if you can you can buy them, that means somebody can buy them from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's even something to look for in a client, like where their integrity lies.
So you mentioned one of the other principles that I was going to speak on, and it's integrity, right? Who are you at your core as a person? And family. I am big on family. So when I work even on my law side, it's like when I tell clients, like, you are coming into my family.
Yes.
And that's how I'm going to treat you.
Yes, absolutely. And the principle of family doesn't just lend to biological family. Because when you build a business, right, and you make people feel like family, there's a trust that comes with that.
Yes.
So I love that core principle that you're going to be bringing in, and just the values that you're setting for yourself. And my prayer for you is that as you grow in the industry, that you don't lose sight of your foundation. Like what you decide your business is going to be, that you're able to hold on to that so that your business will remain set apart. And that I pray that you will have success being able to show up as the desired way you want to be, and that you won't have to compromise to be successful.
I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I like to tell myself, I don't need to remember who I am. I need to remember whose I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Arielle, I want to thank you so much for joining me on Stay a While podcast. And just know this, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I hope you felt the love and connection in today's conversation. Every woman you heard from has faced the impossible and emerged stronger. This is your personal invitation to stay a while longer at TommiV.com. That's TOMMIV.com for more inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. And let's not forget your belly. You're always welcome at my table. Please be sure to subscribe, make yourself at home, and stay a while.